My name's Sam, and this is my channel. Do. Hey everybody, welcome to my holiday episode. Today we'll be making Christmas cookies inspired by the characters from a series of unfortunate events. I'll be making 4 types of cookies total, one for each of the Baudelaire children and one for Count Olaf. For Sunny, we have a crunchy shortbread cookie with a brown sugar butter and a tangerine marmalade. For Klaus, we have a soft chocolate-dipped maple mocha gingerbread. For Violet, we have a light and airy violet-flavored meringue in the shape of a flower. And for Olaf, we have a burnt peppermint white chocolate chip cookie. A basic cookie with a sinister twist, since the Baudelaire orphans are allergic to peppermint. And now that we know what we're making, let's get on to the baking. First, you're going to want to take 142 grams of room temperature butter and add about half a teaspoon of salt to that. Once that's added, you're going to cream those together. Next, you're going to add about half a cup of powdered sugar and cream that together as well. Once everything's well combined, it should look something like this. Next, you're going to want to add 180 grams of flour to your butter and sugar mixture. You're going to want to make sure to do this in batches so everything is well incorporated into the cookie. Add a splash of vanilla, and then transfer to a Ziploc bag and chill for several hours in the fridge. After they're done chilling, we're going to roll and press them into shape on a cookie pan and bake them at 350 for 15 minutes. While that's baking, you're going to add the juice and rinds of about half a pound of tangerines into a pot. As well as half of a lemon and 3/4 cups of sugar. Add just enough water to cover all the contents in your pot and simmer for about 15 minutes on the stove on a medium heat. Once it's done boiling, we're going to scoop out the rinds of the lemon and oranges, put it in a strainer, and press the rest of the juice out of the fruit. Then we're going to add about another half a cup of sugar and put it back on to simmer for about 30 minutes to thicken. While that's cooling down, we're going to make the brown sugar butter. For this, we'll need half a cup of butter and half a cup of brown sugar. You're going to cream that together until well combined. Now it's time to assemble the cookies. The cooled jelly should look something like this, really thick and stretchy. We're going to take a dollop of the brown sugar butter and smear it on one side of the shortbread cookie. Once you have a nice even amount, we're going to take a small half teaspoon and we're going to fish out some jelly with that. And let it drip right over our brown sugar butter. Sandwich that with another shortbread cookie, and there we have the Sunny, a crunchy, messy cookie fit for a teething toddler. Up next we have Klaus. For this cookie, we're going to take 4 grams each of cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, adding it to 360 grams of flour. Once that's all mixed up, we're going to cream together 3/4 of a cup of butter and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Add in 2 eggs, half a cup of maple syrup, about a teaspoon of vanilla, and about 2 teaspoons of coffee. We're going to mix that all together, and then once that is well combined, we're going to slowly start adding our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients and mix that together as well. This batter needs about 4 hours to chill in the fridge, so we're going to transfer it to a Ziploc bag, and we're going to flatten it out. Once your dough has had enough time to chill, we're going to take it back out of the fridge and generously flour our work surface. We're going to cut the bag open and transfer the dough from the bag onto the table. Because we're making a soft, puffy gingerbread cookie, we're going to take about another half cup of flour and add it to the top of the gingerbread and fold it in. This is going to create extra gluten to give us that nice puffy rise that we want. Roll out small circles of dough and bake at 350 for 10 minutes. While those are baking, we're going to take about a cup of chocolate chips and melt them down to dip the cookies in. Make sure you have some foil or wax paper on hand, as this process can get a little messy. And before the chocolate hardens, we're going to take some cinnamon and sprinkle it over the top of the cookies for an extra holiday spice. So flavorful and soft on the inside, these Klaus cookies are definitely worth the time making. For our violet cookie, we're going to start with 4 large egg whites at room temperature, add 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. As we mix these things together, we're going to slowly add 200 grams of sugar in multiple batches. We're going to whip the egg white mixture for several minutes until it forms very stiff peaks. Once we've accomplished this texture, we're going to add in our flavorings. First, we're going to add about 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I found this beautiful violet cocktail syrup online, and we're going to be adding about 4 tablespoons of that to the meringue. Give that syrup just another buzz to incorporate all the flavorings, and then we're going to transfer that to a Ziploc bag for piping. Once we have our cute little flower shapes, I'm going to take some blue food coloring and a toothpick and just draw a little pattern in the center of each flower. And for our last cookie, we have the Olaf. In this bowl, we have 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of white sugar. We're then going to add 3/4 cups of melted butter, give that a good stir, and add in 2 eggs. Once the eggs are mixed in, we're going to work on our dry ingredients. Here we have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I've added 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Mix your dry ingredients into your wet ingredients into 2 different batches. With the last batch, we're also going to incorporate 14 ounces of white chocolate chips. When everything is well combined, it should look like this. Grind up a few soft peppermint sticks for topping. And then scoop your chocolate chip cookies onto a baking sheet in whatever size you choose. Here I'm using an ice cream scoop. We're going to bake these cookies at 350 for 12 minutes. Once the cookies are out of the oven, take a small handful of the peppermint crumbs and sprinkle each cookie. Then we're going to torch the top of the peppermint, or you could put it in the broiler for about a minute. And look at these beautiful crunchy babies. Well, that's all I've got for you this week. Stay tuned next week for more shenanigans, and happy holidays.